Welcome to the first technical preview of Tumbler, a Unity library for natural physics interaction in XR. I'm still working on it, but it's far enough along that I can showcase some of its features and discuss the design decisions behind them. There are two primary ways to handle objects in XR. The first is direct manipulation, using your hands. The other is interaction at a distance. For this, I use a metaphor that I call flexible rod. When you pick up an object, it moves like you'd expect. When it runs into things, it's not actually stuck. It's actually building up potential energy, which will allow it to tumble over other objects and smash into things with greater force. Computer interfaces rely heavily on metaphor. Files, folders, cut, paste, and now a fishing pole from Walmart. But what's good about this is that if it's snagged on something or is pushing against something, there's an arc. And that arc not only indicates where the object is, but also just how much potential energy is waiting to be unleashed. Next, let's talk about pivots. As you can see, no matter where I grab the object, it always points towards the center. Why is that? It's easy to think of the raycast as a finger pointing at the object you want to grab, but it's not. We don't grab things with fingers. It's actually a hand, and when you pick it up, the pivot is the average of your finger points and the center of mass of the object. In other words, we're giving up a bit of precision to favor intuitive, natural controls. It's totally possible to grab an object wherever the pointer is hitting it. That's not a big deal. However, it does change the way certain operations will be run. So for example, if you want to take this object, which is grabbed at the center, and you want to pivot it around its origin, that feels pretty good. If you grab this at its corner here, that feels a little bit wonky. So as with all things, it comes down to understanding what the intent is behind the design and making sure that that's being serviced appropriately. Grabbing an object with your whole hand, use a pivot in the center of the object. Pinching an object between your fingers, use the point the player is actually touching. For objects that aren't simple cubes and spheres, designers could add custom points for the rod to attach to. This makes it easy to move objects around as the force is applied at that point on the object while it's being held. You may have noticed these giant blocks are being moved around like they're weightless. It almost seems like they may even have no mass, even though they do. So what's going on there? Well, imagine you were in orbit and you had a fishing pole and you're trying to pull around a marshmallow. That'd be pretty easy. And then if you were to try to control a cinder block, it'd be a lot more difficult because of the inertia of the cinder block and the flexibility of the pole. And of course you'd be in orbit, so that could lead to a space accident. Ooh, no good. It's impossible to replicate the haptic feedback of moving around a heavy object in XR. The sensation is similar to trying to drive a car over a video camera. We're simply missing some of the proprioceptive inputs we would normally rely on. So, given the choice of making something usable or making it a simulation, I choose to make things usable. However, everything changes when the object you're holding touches another object. Because Tumbler works directly with the physics system, this object is going to apply a force that's proportional to its mass. As you might expect, this 1 kilogram block doesn't have much of a chance of moving this 100 kilogram block. 10 kilograms? Yeah, same thing. Although, it can apply enough centrifugal force to move it. 50 kilograms? Well, that's not going to have any problem at all. There's obviously more to show you, but to be honest, the next thing I was going to talk about was increasing lerp over distance to mitigate the lever effect. Something like that really needs a good demonstration. And so I was thinking about using a magic leap to paint the outside of my house. We'll see how that goes. Until next time, thank you for watching. My name is Ted, and this is Tumbler.